Welcome to Sacred Dreaming. I'm Dr. Mary Bellon. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the shadow. This will be the beginning of a few videos that I do about the shadow. And to begin, I'm going to tell you a little story. So some years ago, I went hiking in the Wind Canyon in Wyoming. And the people I was with decided that we would hike up to this glacier lake. And so we began our hike and we climbed and we went up and climbed some more. And after a while, we wandered off the trail. Somehow we had gotten off the trail and we were kind of bushwhacking around. So we decided that we should stop and orient ourselves, particularly because we knew we were in grizzly country. Also, there were cougars around. So we stopped, and as we stopped, we realized that we could smell this kind of terrible rotten smell. And we were kind of under an overcropping of rock. And we looked around and we realized that we had wandered into a grizzly bear lair. And we knew it was a lair because along the floor where we were standing were bits of hair, bear scat, leftover things that the bear had been eating, and this odor. So we hurried up and got out of there and found the actual trail and made our way to the glacier lake. But working with our shadow is a little bit like going into our own personal bear lair. It's where we put discarded things. It's where we put things that we don't want to carry with us as we're out roaming the world in our persona that we're presenting to other people. Sometimes it's where we have put things that we are uncomfortable with, that smell a little bit, at least to us. We think that we put maybe some unkind things there, or envy there, or jealousies, or resentments. But sometimes we just put things that we don't want other people to know about or other people to see. The shadow is a place of great privacy. But one thing is clear: when we stood in the grizzly bear lair, we immediately saw the evidence of the bear, and we were familiar with what this meant. This is true when we come to our own shadow material. It is familiar to us, and it is evidence of our lived life. And because it is worth working with. It is worth mining, as Jung would say, for the gold within it. There's another kind of shadow work called the bright shadow work. And I'll tell you another story to illustrate that. As you can see, I do enjoy hiking, and I was in Custer State Park at Sylvan Lake, and we were going to go hiking, and we camped at Sylvan Lake. Well, at Sylvan Lake, if you've ever been there is a lake. It's a beautiful lake, and you can walk all the way around it. And in the lake, there is a pinnacle of rocks. I think it is the remnant of the mountain that was there before the lake formed there. So there's this pinnacle of rocks, and at the top of the pinnacle of rocks, there is a fountain of water that comes out of the rock. It's like a little waterfall that's coming out. And you cannot see the source of the water, but it is so beautiful. As it comes out of the rock, it sparkles and glistens in the sun. And you know that deep, deep in the rock, where people have never seen, in the darkness, there is the origin of this beautiful water. Well, when we do bright shadow work, that water comes from our source. It comes from our magnificence. It comes from the brightness of our own lives. But sometimes we don't recognize it as such. We see the waterfall and we say, oh, that is so beautiful. And maybe we project it onto other people or other situations when truly it is coming out of the deep sources of our own lives. When we do dream work or we do spiritual direction, oftentimes we use strategies and uncovering mechanisms to find the sources of our shadow and to find what is in our shadow, what constitutes the shadow, what have we set aside or neglected, what have we not owned, even our own greatness. I hope you might consider doing some dream work with me or a little spiritual direction. I invite you to look at the website and see if anything's of interest to you. Thanks a lot for listening.